Love is as complicated as life.
It is. It hurts, it heals, it confuses.
How does divorce affect children?
The wife is narcissistic and she's hurting him. She's violent at sometimes. There are a lot of cases about body shaming. Where does it come? With children having the same gender parents and single parents, it's not necessary that they would need both of them.
A case so complex or bizarre that it stayed with you, kept you awake at night?
Today, we talked about marriage, modern relationship challenges, and the realities that many couples silently struggle with. This conversation will be helpful for anyone who's about to get married, is already married, or is trying to understand their relationship better. And to help us understand this deeply, I'm joined by someone who has spent over 15 years understanding human connections in all their forms, Nisha Kalmane. So, Nisha Kalmane is a mental health professional and also a relationship coach who has worked with relationships of all kinds, whether it's between husband and wife, parents and children, and professional world. She is also the author of the book The Naughty Decisions, in which, through psychology, relationships, and storytelling, she helps people connect better, live lighter, and love deeper. So let's dive into an honest and insightful conversation with Nisha Kalmane. Enjoy.
Nisha, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am good. So good to meet you finally.
It was all about messages. I'm so glad I can see you at least virtually at this moment.
Yeah, at least virtually. Let's meet
Yeah.
someday.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
So, Nisha, I would like our viewers to know first of all what you do professionally and how can you help them in your profession.
I'm a qualified psychologist and I have been working as a relationship coach. I initially started off helping youngsters to overcome their breakup, a lot of this love breakups. So I started with that and then I moved on to a little more mature relationships where post marriage, what are the issues they face. So it's been a long journey. It's close to 15 years now and have been talking to more than I think more than 10,000 couples at this point of time, and has been a lovely, lovely ride. Not always, because sometimes it is very sad to hear stories from people, what's happening in their life. But it is such an amazing job to be in because you're guiding people. End of the day, they are so grateful to us. Whatever decision they take it with their whole heart. And being a support system at that point of time is definitely a blessing. So this is what I do. I actually guide couples and even people who are a little confused about whether they should really get into a relationship, whether they want to stay single, whether they want to have a baby. So anything related to this. And not just that, I also work with parents, teenagers. That's a big, big, big thing now. So teenagers and parents, their relationship between siblings who hardly talk, then the boss and the subordinates. So any kind of relationship. So primarily at this point of time, there is a huge market for this couple relationship that is there. So people who reach out to me are from this sector.
Let's dive into the question directly. I think let's save everyone's time and let's start talking because I know you have a lot to share and people have a lot to learn from you. So, I want to ask that for couples planning to get married soon, what are the top 5 non negotiable things that must be discussed before marriage? Like things people usually avoid but later they regret it.
First thing, I think they need to know how they fight because
Okay. Interesting.
because what happens is that everything is lovey-dovey until the first year of marriage or 2 years of marriage, but when there are fights they really don't know how the partner reacts. So some of them are very a little withdrawn, so they would not want to talk. They would like to be silent. But some of them are very persuasive, so they go behind the partner. Oh, please talk to me. Don't do this. So that is a little difficult if people are from two different kinds of personality. So you should know how they react to a fight because fights are inevitable. It would happen. There's no relationship where there are no arguments or fights. So first thing you need to know is how do you fight. I always tell people, this is one thing that is completely neglected, but it's a very, 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 very important topic that has to be discussed, followed by the parental boundaries. Because when they get married, how the partners look up to their parents.
Okay.
So that is very, very important because initial conversation is about them. Very rarely do they talk about their expectations, regarding how good a son or how good a daughter-in-law, how good a son-in-law they would want to be in the future. So once they get married and suddenly you find the husband talking to the mother for a little longer time, or probably giving some gifts, or the daughter is probably giving a portion of the salary, or giving surprise visits. This can bring in a very big crack between the couples if it is not discussed. So how important your parents are, like each other's, that has to be discussed. Because once there is clarity, then there is no issue, right? The husband is talking for hours with the mom. Okay, that's fine. That's how he is. So that makes it a lot more easier. Then the third one is money. When it comes to money, everybody loves to say what they own, but what they're liable to, they might have a loan, or they might be having so many pending EMIs. That's never discussed in detail. Yeah. And another thing is, if one of the partner is a spendthrift and the other one is the one who saves a lot. So what happens there? It's like, okay, you're not allowing me to save. You're actually emptying all the money. So if you know how the partner is, okay, she spends a lot or he spends a lot, it's okay. That's how she or he is. Or you both sit together and have a discussion as in how much, what, where, why. Because money, again, it takes a back seat because it's always romance and maybe all that lovely
Emotions are discussed more than the real practical things,
yeah,
right?
yes. And followed by that, again, since you said emotions, we also need to discuss about the emotional availability, the kind of emotional availability, because some of them, like I said earlier, would like to be shown, the emotions to be shown, and some of them just don't like it. If the person is a little anxious, might give a call like n number of times asking, are you reaching home? Are we having any plans today? What to do tonight? Or something as simple as what to eat tonight. Like you might be going out, but even then you call many a times because it's because the personality is anxious. Yeah. But if the other person is not like that, then a little avoidant. They think that, okay, I'm mature, I can manage, I don't understand why this girl is asking me all these questions, or why this guy is asking me all these questions. So in what way you want your partner to be available, emotionally available, that has to be discussed. And the last one, I think, is children. Though there are a lot of things being discussed, from names to how many, but they do not discuss about when and who takes the responsibility. Like, are you going to step back from the responsibilities and take care of the baby? Or sometimes husbands also would want to join in, but there is a stereotype where the mother has to do it. And that has to be discussed because some of the men really want to pitch in, and that is never discussed. So I feel these things, if it is discussed before marriage, a lot of things will not happen. You'll have a beautiful relationship. So these things are to be discussed.
Wow, I don't think it was easy for you to come down to 5 points and so specific, but yeah, wonderful. Now I'm listening to you and I understand that, yeah, these are really, really important. Yeah, like those who have no idea, just getting into a relationship, then getting married, they will know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's really important to discuss all of this. Now I want to ask you that you work with relationship of every kind, right? Not just the romantic ones. So when you look at Indian society today, what do you think is the biggest misunderstanding people have about relationships?
This is a beautiful question, actually. It's a very simple answer. The sense you want to be a good daughter, a good subordinate, a good daughter-in-law, a good mother. So the pressure of being the good girl or the good boy and to fit into the box is what each and everybody, invariable of what relationship we are talking about, everybody is struggling and trying to fall into that perfect box. But that is the biggest myth, right? You cannot fit into a box because each one is unique and you have your own personality. But the struggle is when they reach probably their 40s or 50s, they realize that this is not me. So what happens to their life, whatever they have lived, the multiple roles that they have been playing? They feel like it was all a sham, like I don't know what I was doing. So this thing is to be addressed very, very seriously because it is taken very lightly. We always want to be the best girl in the class, best student, best daughter-in-law, best mother. So that is one thing. And along with that, I also want to say that the glorification of parenthood that is there, right? Uh, Always, the mothers are put into a lot of guilt when there is a relationship and the mother has just had a baby. She might be going through so much, because her body looks different. She will not be feeling nice to be in front of the mirror. She's not allowed to say it. Just imagine someone comes and says, okay, I've become fat. Like, you just had a baby. You're bound to be that.
Ah.
And you want to take a break, you want to go and have an ice cream, you want to go out for half an hour, and you actually ask someone, can you just sit by the baby? They're like, you're leaving this just a small baby and you want to have ice cream? And that's how people look at you. So this guilt, mom guilt, which is there, it is normalized, and it is, I think they call it divine, but it is actually ruining an entire personality where you try to reduce them, put them into a box and make them feel so guilty for such a beautiful emotion of bringing a little individual to this world. So I always feel, this myth about fitting in is something that has to get out of the society. And this mom guilt, what we put into people, that also has to go, just to be normalized. Mothers should be able to tell their problems,
Right.
what they are going through, and what their happiness is, and what is the small little happiness that they want to do for themselves, not just about the baby, but about them. So this is something that I feel needs to be addressed on priority.
All right, that was an interesting one. I did not expect mother to be a part of a conversation, but it is important, very important, integral part of the society, right? So we need
Yeah.
to understand the new mothers also. And now I want to go back to the marriages and relationship, right? What the book is all about. So I want to go there and ask you that in arranged marriages, how often have you seen decisions being driven more by kundli matching and babas interfering, rather than the emotional and logical compatibility? Like, I want to know, do such marriages still work in today's fast changing world, or do they create like hidden cracks later? Like, what happens?
Okay, this is a very big market. No matter how educated, how rich, and how sophisticated people in India are, I think astrologers, the godmen, and the so-called category of babas would always remain rich, because a lot of us tend to rely on their predictions or look for validation. It is mainly because there are a lot of separation and divorce that's happening recently. So they really don't want to put the blame on anyone. So they put it on the babas and on the astrologers just by seeking validation, so that the parent cannot be blamed end of the day. So this is another area. We do not think in that way. We generally give it a spiritual connection. It is not that. It is about the fear of being wrong. I don't want to be the reason for tomorrow's bad things. So this is huge. It is still being practiced, no matter how sophisticated people are, and it's very sad. Like when people reach to me, they would have gone to multiple people to fix it, and they would have caused so much of damage. For me to work with them, it's extremely difficult, because there's this blame game that goes on and on and on. Then they go from one baba to another, from there to another. They would have so many people referring so many other people, so they go all over. And when they're not able to handle, they reach to me. If they would have done it a little earlier, probably we can help them out. But it is generally very late when they come. And talking about whether these kind of marriages work, yes, they do work sometimes. It is not that it goes off completely. It works when people are matured enough to have open conversation, when they realize, okay, this is just the reason that we have come together. But there is a whole lot of thing, because partnership is a skill, right? You need to, it is totally different from anything else. You want to work as a partner all your life long. So you need to have open conversation, discussions, share a lot about yourself, be friends. Then it works. But if you're going to sit down and say, okay, the Baba says it's going to be great, come on, let's sit, and we're not even opening up, we're not having any conversations, there is absolutely no interaction, and it doesn't work. So cracks do come in this manner if there are no proper conversations happening and no discussions, no sharing of whatever is there in their mind. It happens.
All right. Is there any case that you have handled that because of the Baba, eventually the couple are going to divorce each other? Has it ever happened?
Okay, let me just share you. There are quite a few examples. See, what happens is, I don't know how it is in the northern side of India, but then in south, I can give you references of southern part of India, where they actually say the age, like by 18 or by 19, if you don't get married, then she may not get married till 35 or 36.
It
So what
happens in
happens
North
is that,
also. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so what happens is that no matter who the guy is, they don't even check about anything because they are only hell bent on making this girl get married at that particular time. So it might be the wrong person, they're not bothered, but the time is important for them. So a lot of young girls, 19, 20, they come to me saying, I don't find anything in the person. I don't know what am I doing. But when we talk to the parents, they say, no, the astrologist said this is the best person and this has to happen now. So the question is, there is no right age for marriage is what we all say. But when it comes to our own families, getting married before 30 or now I think 32, 33 is also fine. But after a certain age, is still looked down. So
Yeah.
parents are under pressure because of the society and they go by their words. So I have had multiple cases, especially about this 19 years and 20 days. That's how they would generally predict so many days. So what happens is that within that day, they have to finalize. They are so much into it and they load them with jewelry, they do everything, and the little girls are so happy about the photographs and the pre-wedding shoot and all that. And after 2 years, they come back and they say like, no, I don't know what am I doing. So there are a lot of cases like this, Ritu. There are a lot of cases.
God, it's
And
sad.
that's why I have mentioned in the book also, probably that's the first chapter, because
Yeah, it is.
I hear so many stories like this, not stories, it's life. They're not.
Yeah, we can call it story because I read it in a book, but you are experiencing it.
Yeah.
It must be like
And it is not a beautiful thing to experience, but it becomes beautiful when you guide them and they become independent. They can take a decision for themselves and you feel so good about it. But what they go through as a clinician, as someone who's dealing with them, it's not a pleasant thing, but your job is it. You have to be always welcoming, smiling, like you see this air hostess and everyone that's sitting at the reception. You have to be smiling and be very confident. But within you, end of the day, I'm human. It cracks. It definitely cracks. No matter whatever designation you sit on or whatever years of experience you have, it does crack seeing little girls go through all this.
Oh God. I would like to continue this conversation and say and ask you that many people say सब ठीक हो जाएगा शादी के बाद, right? और सब ठीक हो जाएगा बच्चे होने के बाद, right? So is this hope realistic or dangerous?
Yeah, it is something like, it's a projected hope for the future. Okay, it is nothing about the present. This is something that people don't realize. And this is a tool that is being used by most of the families today. But unfortunately, I should say that when you get married or when you have a baby, it is magnifying everything. Everything is extra. Extra responsibilities, extra care. There's so much of extra duties that you need to take care. So it is not that, बच्चे के बाद सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. कुछ तो ठीक हो जाएगा because you both have to sit and do, plan. If you're good at planning and doing things, then little cracks here and there can be fixed. But if the couple have been disrespectful, either the male or the female, there's not going to be any change. He or she is going to be disrespectful even if you have a baby or if they were in a relationship and they have been on the toxic side. They're not going to change after marriage or after having a baby. So, to a certain extent, what happens is that people think loneliness fades away if you have a baby. So when there are long distance relationships, so if the husband is working abroad or the wife is working abroad or wherever, they think that they have a child, then they have more responsibility. They'll not feel let alone. But that is the time they actually feel alone. They would need the partner. But the thing is, people always say, it'll be fine once you get married, once you have a baby. And after the first baby, they say, when you have another baby. And if there are two boys, they say, it'll be okay when you have a girl child. So this is a tool.
Never
This
ending.
is definitely a tool. Yeah. It is a never ending, what do you call a reoccurring tool that is being used. So nothing negative about it. At the end of the day, it is about two of them who need to plan and decide. But when anyone says, you get married, you'll be fine, yeah, we hear this when people are a little low, maybe financially. They say, get married, once Lakshmi comes, you'll get money. End of the day, there is no Lakshmi that's going to come with money. What they're referring to, maybe the gold or dowry or anything, which is actually bad.
Oh God.
But I'm saying there is no Lakshmi who's coming to pay your debts. So there's nothing that's going to work if you're
Rather,
financially
it's an
start to get married in life.
right. It's an additional responsibility once you get
Yes,
married.
yes,
It's no Lakshmi happening there.
yeah. No, people say, like, she came into the family. I got a lot of money after that, and all. See, these are all. This what actually happens is once you have an additional member, you work even more harder. Maybe that's how you make a lot more money. But you connect to all these kind of, I don't know what do you call it. It is a reassurance, I think. Like, it will be fine tomorrow. That's just a hope.
Hope.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are gonna run and decide on hopes rather than, real logical emotional decisions. I hope it changes like suddenly. Just like how COVID happened, people should like change thinking like immediately like that. I wish it
Yes.
happens, but let's
We can
see.
just wish and hope
Yeah,
and probably educate younger people, to be a little more sensible with this. That's the only thing we can do, right?
right. Part of a conversation in a reality shows and chat shows which I have seen very often, especially the celebrity shows. So I want to ask you, everyone says communication is the key to a healthy relationship, but we also hear that comfortable silence is a sign of intimacy. That's what is happening. This is a trend now. We both sit silently and we are still comfortable.
Yeah.
That is a trend these days. But how do couples differentiate between healthy silence and emotional disconnect?
Okay, so when it is a healthy silence, you feel good about it. Okay, there is a pleasurable feeling. You feel a lot relaxed. There is no stress. There's no wanting to, oh, when is he going to talk to me? Is everything okay? These kind of thoughts are all, it's nil. It's not present. And things are going to get better. So the entire feeling itself is a lot more calmer and you feel a lot more energized when you stop it after the silence phase is over. But when it is the other one, what happens is that you are having conflict of thought. You don't know when this is going to end. You feel a lot more anxious. You're very disturbed. So you cannot do anything in a normal way. It is affecting your day to day work. So that's how you differentiate. But communication, like you said, is very important, as equally important as the silence that you're referring to right now, in a positive way.
Yeah.
But again, it has to be positive. Otherwise, if one person is thinking, okay, I'm having my time, no problem, I'm relaxed, I don't feel lonely, I'm happy, but the other person is waiting. Like, okay, hopefully he's going to come back and talk, everything is going to be fine. No, it's not going to be that. Because after your silence phase, the other person is going to react probably 3-4 times more than what you expect.
Yeah, right. All right. So as far as both are comfortable, then only it is comfortable. Otherwise,
Yes.
it's a silence before the what do you call
Storm.
it? Yeah, the storm. Storm. I was going to say tornado, but yeah,
Yeah, it can be a
it
tornado
can be.
also. You never know.
So I would like to jump onto the next question, which I find very interesting since I have seen the movie Dear Zindagi. All right. So there is this famous dialogue from this movie that keep trying different chairs, until you find the right one. So how does this mindset affect long-term commitment and relationships? That I want to know.
Trying different chairs to a certain extent is okay. Okay, you don't have to give in to one chair. Okay, but at the same time, if you are of a mindset that there's going to be something better than what I have at the moment, then you cannot invest in that one particular relationship. So when you are actually getting into a relationship, there's a whole lot of things that you need to invest into it. Your time, your energy, your thought, your feelings. There's a lot of things that you need to do. But if you are in a hurry to try and swipe and go to the next one and next one, you cannot be committed because you can't even understand who the person is. So if a person is looking for a committed relationship, I'm okay, or I feel it is absolutely fine if you have been doing this for some time, but not good at the long run. If you keep doing it, you always think, okay, maybe I'll find someone better than this. Again, someone better than this. So this is never ending. So trying the chair in a limit is okay, but at the same time, you need to invest your time, energy on at least one relationship to understand if it's going to be for a longer time. If um, if your goal or if the person's goal is to just have fun, that's a different story.
Both
But
of them
serious
are on the
relationship,
same page, then it's a different story altogether.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Right. And also, the movie and the dialogue came before there was this left swipe and right swipe thing. But now this line is taken in a different sense, try chairs and all. That's why I wanted to know that, how this really works in today's world.
Mhm. Well,
Right.
this is how it is, like there's no harm actually. But when the younger people who come to me, the college kids who come to me, somewhere where now that the system is much more easier, the copy paste, everything is available. So commitment and deep rooted relationships are becoming almost extinct. But there are a few of them who do understand the importance of relationship. I don't like to categorize people on generations because in each generation there are different kind of people. But this is quite common these days. I mean, it's okay to a certain extent, but after some time, it's time to buckle up. You cannot do the same thing.
Right, right. Okay, I hope the younger generation is watching this.
Yeah.
This is my favorite question that I want to know. All right. Me coming from a generation of Karan Johar's movies, right? The 90s, the millennials. So I want to ask that how much do Bollywood films influence expectations from marriage? Like, have you ever handled a case where someone expected a relationship straight out of, a Karan Johar movie and struggled with reality? Has that ever happened?
Oh, this is a beautiful question, but I have to say yes.
Uh,
Because there are so many people who are influenced by Bollywood, and especially all thanks to Karan Johar. They are in a dreamy land. So I can quote, or rather explain to you about one specific case where they came from a very orthodox religious family, but then both of them were madly in love.
okay.
And the reason they reached to me was later when they had issues. But let me just explain to you how they fell in love. Um, this girl was very particularly influenced by Amitabh and Jaya from Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gum, and she actually is a little short, so she wanted a really tall guy. So from there, it begins, and it doesn't end there because every day they got married, and he needs to wake her up with flowers, make coffee, write poems for her. So this went on for some time,
Every day?
and every day. And I don't know, the poor guy, he was doing it. And he got frustrated after a certain time because he had to go to work. And, it was very difficult for him. And what used to happen is she used to put this out as reels, like everywhere on social media. And since the guy comes from a very orthodox family, it was a big no. It was not at all entertained. But he did it for his wife because they were madly in love. And how long can they be madly in love until they see the flaws, right? So then it just got up to his nerve, and then they reached up to me, and she doesn't know the world other than the movies. She's stuck in the movies, madly stuck in the movies. I just asked her, like, okay, what is the dream that you have? If you have read my book, you would be seeing, I had mentioned certain things about the snow-capped mountains and where they wanted to kiss and influenced by movies. These are all real life stories, okay?
God. Okay, I just
So,
want to take a moment and tell people just read it. It is very interesting. I read it like a story, but somewhere I knew it is real. But when you're saying it is real, it is hitting me differently. And I want to tell
yeah.
everyone, please read it. You won't believe what things happens. Anyway, yeah, please. Sorry.
So there are cases like this. But at the same time, Ritu, we also need to understand the influence of Indian soaps, okay? Because the mothers-in-law, oh my goodness, they just actually very sweet people. But they want to, recreate these characters that they're seeing in their serials, these soaps. They're like, okay, now I need to be this, I need to behave in a certain. They ruin the whole family dynamics, like these serials and movies, they influence a great deal. To be honest, a lot of people like me can make a lot of money, but it's very, very sad, like it's really sad that it influences people to this extent because they think it is good to be in that way and probably treat the daughter-in-law this way. And, they have all these things. And even the way they communicate to me, it would be more like very lyrical. so connected to the films and serials. But it takes some time until they realize that things are all out of their hands, that they decide to remodel their mind, which is extremely difficult because they've been practicing it for a long time. So yeah, they're heavily, heavily influenced.
My
We are.
God. So it's not just Karan Johar, right? Even Ekta Kapoor has some things to do with
Yes,
this,
of
right?
course.
Oh my God. I did not know. I thought TV is like entertainment. Yeah, little bit here and there it might have affected, but I thought Karan Johar is mainly responsible. But
Karan Johar is for the love part of it, but when it comes to family, oh, all credits to Ekta Kapoor as well. Like people are imitating a lot of them.
oh my God. They don't even know their power, I think.
Yeah, yeah, they
Which
really don't know.
Yeah, so now I want to go to a little serious part of a relationship, which is money. So I want to know that should couples have separate bank accounts, and has financial control or ego around money have ever become a serious reason for, separation or divorce between a couple?
Oh, yes, money is an important factor. See, I can give you an example of a couple. I mean, see, coming to this joint account, it is completely up to the couple if they want to have, they don't want to have. But for women, I wouldn't suggest it. But any which way, that is my thinking. Like, I feel they should know to manage their finances. Though it is not taught in schools, I think as you mature and go up in life, I think we need to have our independent financial ideas and how you want to manage your finances. That clarity should be there. But when it comes to couple, joint or not, doesn't matter. But what really matters is how you plan your finances and how both of them are involved in whatever actions they take with regard to finances. So let me just give you an example, a real life case where they have been married for a really long time,
Okay.
and they call me home because slightly, not slightly, they're actually elderly people. So they called me home and they said, okay, we want to talk to you. I said, okay, no problem, I would definitely come down. So uh, each thing that I was looking at in their house, so the lady says, okay, this is mine, I bought it. And another one I see, like, this is, what I bought. And then after some time, they say, okay, this is what that man bought. This is what that man bought. And this is like what, 25 years of marriage when people are talking like this. This is what that man bought. This is what I bought. And I was just wondering, I was like, 25 years you've been staying in the same house, and you're talking like this. So I thought, since they are definitely a lot more experienced, I should understand what are they thinking. So since both of them are well educated and they have their own jobs, I was like, okay, I understand you have put in the money, but why do you call it yours, not ours? So it happens, it so happened that, it's not a love marriage, it's an arranged marriage. And they never had a bond till date. So they are cohabiting, but absolutely no emotional current. They have made children, they are growing up on their own. But till today, they are not one. In the sense, each thing is mine and his.
Like
It's not
roommates.
ours. So that is how much money can affect. So if the emotions are connected and one person takes the responsibility of managing the finances, or one person decides to step back as a provider and one person takes care, it's okay. It's just that, they need to be transparent and also give equal opportunity for their thoughts, what they think. I think I can do this, I can pitch this, I want some for this, why I want this. These are the discussions that they should have openly. And I think end of the day, the moment the couple says this is ours, it's a victory. It shouldn't be like it's his and it's mine. That definitely you understand there is no connect between them.
Right.
And for the world, it might be a very happy family. But when I entered there, when I sat down, including chai pati, is like I bought it, he bought it. And I was like, now whose coffee or tea am I drinking? Like that's how they have been. But they are together. This is cohabiting. That's not love, or I wouldn't call it as a very happy family unit or a family dynamics that they share. Yeah. So money, there are chances of going to any extreme. So emotions first, and emotions and money also has to be connected. Otherwise, this can bring in ego. If the wife is not informed or husband is not informed, there can be ego. Why aren't you discussing with me? Am I not there?
Right.
Can't I do it? So these kind of issues can crop up. Coming to separation, when only one person is a provider and the other person is silent, with absolutely no contribution with home or with finances, managing home or the finances, yes, there have been a lot of cases where it has led to separation.
So like the when wife is dependent at that time, you're saying.
No, sometimes it's not just about the wives, Ritu. There are a lot of men who sit at home
Okay.
who expect wives to go and work. I understand why sometimes after having a baby, they might take a break or they might have opted to take care of the house while the husband is working elsewhere. But you can have open conversations, right? Whatever it is, whether you're working or not. But what I was referring to is where husband expects the wife to be the provider with absolutely no contribution. So what happens is, uh, though there's no contribution from the man, he would be managing the finances after the woman is logging the whole day. So she has no access to her finances. So such relationships definitely, we see a very, very bad ending to such kind of relationships. It can happen either ways. Let's not bracket it to genders, but like you thought it was a woman,
Yeah, I thought.
most of us think it's the woman. But there are
Because
a lot of men who are
what
that.
I am thinking is maybe these are the problems that are happening into mature marriages. I am not thinking that it is happening in a marriage of like 5 7 years. I think maybe it is happening after 15 20 years of marriage. So for that generation, it is assumed that women are
Yeah.
dependent on men. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, okay, I don't know too much of relationships. Of course, not as much as you know, for sure.
So it's
Oh.
happening across, even if it is 6 years of marriage or 10 years of marriage. There are people who are crazily in love and they don't look at what kind of a job they have, are they able to provide. But after some time, when they take the entire responsibility of the house and you see the man just sitting at home, and not just that, talking about your finances as well, that's where the issue crops up, right?
Ah,
If you
okay.
pitch in, I have even heard girls saying, even if it is 100 rupees, it is 100 rupees, but you don't even talk about it. You don't acknowledge the effort. You're not contributing. You're not appreciating. Then what is the use? What's the point? 6 months happy. After the 6 month, you start feeling it.
Right, right. The reality hits at some point.
Yeah.
What happens is, we see movies, we read books, and we assume that, okay, fine, this might happen. When it is bad, we say, okay, it is fiction. ऐसा थोड़ी होता है, right? But when we talk to people like you who meet people like every day you must be meeting multiple people like that. I think it is important for people to know that what is actually happening in the world. We go in disbelief, right? कि ऐसा कौन बात करता है, that you just said कि 25 years of marriage, right? And after that you say ये उस person का है और ये मेरा है. We don't expect this, but these are the realities, and only people like you can let us know about all these things. And I'm so happy that somehow this is happening, and I hope it reaches to so many people and it brings some changes and improvisation in our society,
Yeah.
especially in the marriages.
Hopefully, I'm hoping for it.
So now that we are taking like little intense turns. So let me ask you this: that when a relationship stops working, what option do couples really have? Like, is divorce the only solution, or are there other healthier paths? Like, especially in the society where divorce is still taboo, are there options other than divorce?
Okay. So I would like to look at this question in two phases. Okay. One is societal validation. If that is important, then there is no option in the sense. Only thing that you can probably do is cohabit and have your own life. In the sense, you have see. I can quote an example where there is a case of a special child in the family where there is an abusive relationship, and one of the best thing to do is to separate, especially when there is no respect, there is abuse. Definite suggestion is, see, I cannot suggest the path for people. I would just guide them as in, if you do this is what is going to happen. If you do this is what's going to happen. End of the day, the person takes the decision, right? So here there was a special child and a couple, there was a father and a mother, and it is very important that the child has both the parents. but they are extremely abusive to each other, not just one. Both of them are abusive. So what they did is they lived in the same house, though they have their separate lives. Okay. So if you ask me whether morally it is right, if you own to the society, if you want to be the good girl again, the good husband, the good family, it is completely wrong. But if you ask me whether they did the right thing for the child, definitely yes.
What they did
So
actually.
what they did is they stayed in the same house. That means they were cohabiting, but looking after the child, and they had their own lives. They were living their own lives outside. So, like, I can't call it an open marriage, but they had their own lives. They may have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or any kind of a life outside, or they may remain single. It is left to them. They're not. I can say they cannot. They're not authorized to question each other about their personal
Okay.
lives. But as a parent, they are there together in the house. So if you're looking for divorce, like you said, since it's considered a taboo, if you are looking for the society's validation, then this is wrong. But if you're looking at the child's future, this is right. So, divorce is not the only option. Definitely, there are steps. That is the last option. Okay, that's the last option. There are steps like therapies. They can have temporary separation. They can sit and rework on what is not working and decide. But here, they need to be willing to work out the relationship. But what I would say is if there is disrespect and there is abuse, I think two happier people in their own spaces is better, right? Than creating a nonsensical world for the child that you're going to bring and for yourself. So divorce is the last option, but in some cases it's the best option. We need to train the society to accept it,
Right.
is what I feel. Because earlier, if you go back in history, there was nothing like the concept of marriage.
Right.
People just had children and it went on. But later on, we had the concept of society, marriage within certain communities. All this came in later on. So now, after going through all this, and when we talk about divorce, we look down upon it. I don't understand how it makes sense. But if there are two people are happy to stay together in whatever way possible, use therapy, try to work out on whatever the issues are, good. If they cannot, please take your respective ways and divorce and don't care about the society, because society is never bothered if you're down with fever, you're hospitalized, you're having financial losses, you're suffering. Nobody is going to turn towards you. Then I don't think we need to validate it to that society.
Right. Right.
So there are other options, but divorce is not something to be shunned down or looked down upon, because some people really need it. There are cases of narcissistic wives who actually give a lot of treatment to the men. So I have seen helpless men who are stuck between mothers and mother and wife, and the wife is narcissistic and she's hurting him. She's violent at sometimes, and again they are showing love at sometimes. They are abusing sometimes. They don't know what to do. How do they live their life? So I think invariable of the gender or whatever, there should be an option to walk out as well. Why they need to check out on all the 10 options to make it work. If it doesn't, then that's the only option.
How does divorce affect children psychologically?
See, divorce affects children based on the kind of society they are living in.
Okay.
If they are living in a society or an extended family that constantly talks about this, you're probably saying your mother has left you and gone, or your father has abandoned you. So this is a huge trauma. At the same time, a child who has grown up with a single parent for a really long time, while the mother or father acts as both the parent, may be having a different version of life. So what I'm saying is, it does affect based on extended families, the society they live in, the kind of emotional support they have, the social support they have. All these things, they contribute. If you ask me whether a father's absence can bring down the quality of a child's life, emotionally to a certain extent, it might. It might, but it can be covered up if the mother is putting in that much of an effort. Probably the child has an uncle or a older brother who is stepping in for certain acts where they would want a fatherly figure.
Okay.
So this is happening now, but in the future, this would change because right now, at least till today, the father-mother-child dynamics is, it is how the society is. Now, with a lot of changes happening with children having just probably same-gender parents and single parents, and a lot of cases like that, this would change with time. It's not necessary that they would need both of them because as long as the society is like this, it can affect the child to a certain extent.
All right. So basically, I think it's about the society, what matters, and how that affects the child more than just the divorce affecting the child.
Yes,
Right.
there are a lot of kids who are happier because when they are in the house, they throw things at each other, they are shouting at each other, and they are seeing just negativity at home.
Right.
Whereas once they're separated and they go for 10 days with the father, they see a different side of their father. And they go with their mother, okay, they see another side of mom. So they realize, okay, they are really good people. So there are a lot of kids who are happy that way. But society generally keeps taunting, keeps asking. And it's not just about divorce, even widows and widowers, if they don't have their partners, those kids are also heavily affected, with these kind of stupid questions that people come up with. It is really sad because I do have a lot of cases of young kids who stopped going to school for a few days and they wouldn't even open up, and then they would say like, okay, they keep questioning about my dad and what happened to my dad and how did my mom give birth to me without a dad. These are all things which kids are fed by elders. How would
Of
the
course,
child
how
feel
would
like?
they know?
So these are the things that society puts in here. How we are today is because of the surrounding we have lived in, the kind of parenting we have got. We are what we are today. So it's the same thing for them as well.
Oh my God. And the blame goes on to the divorce, you know? A child is a certain way because they separated. They got
Correct.
separated. They decide their own paths, right? But then they don't realize that, the people who are saying these things now have only affected the child. All right. I did not know this perspective, right? That society can have that much of influence.
Yes.
All right.
Society does play a huge role, and sometimes society can be so nasty, like I see so many cases which I feel I and wish the society had a little bit of sense in their head. It's very sad to see a lot of cases because of society and sometimes the extended family as well. Uncles, aunts, some long distance close cousins who just come for weddings and
Yeah.
who come from nowhere, especially after the examination results.
Right.
You have some aunties calling up and asking, "Okay, what are the grades? How is she getting married?" It would be actually go by the relationship. It would be like really far, some distant aunt, but they would come at the right time when the results are out. You're going to get married. You're going to have a baby. So these people also contribute to a great deal.
My God. Is there any specific case that you would like to discuss which is related to this society thing?
See, most of the cases are society related. When it comes to mental health, it is nature versus nurture kind of a thing, where what kind of upbringing you have, along with what kind of a surrounding you live in. So, if you and I are sane today, if you and I are composed today, we have to thank whatever was around us and what has made us what we are today.
Right.
So definitely, society has a huge role in our mental well-being.
All right. So, like every case has society.
Oh yeah, because when we talk about if, in the case of body shaming, there are a lot of cases about body shaming. Where does it come? It comes from schools. It comes from the society, from your what mohalla people. Everybody is passing a comment. So where is it coming out? It's coming from there. Deep insecurity cases. Where is it coming from? From whatever people have told and the way they've treated you while you were a child. Okay, people get into trauma bonding. Why? Because they have seen a lot of unwanted or nonsensical relationship in front of them, which is abusive and which is very hurtful. So where does it come from? Society has huge role. It has a very big role.
Can you please share two special cases from your experience? A case so complex or bizarre that it stayed with you, kept you awake at night. And I would like to know one case which was a nice one and had a happy ending unexpectedly.
I'll start with a happy ending because it happened recently, so
Oh,
it's fresh in my mind.
okay.
So there is a person whom I have been supporting for more than I think 6 months now, after a very, very, very bad breakup.
Okay.
So I would get his call at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, saying, "I'm on the terrace. I'm going to jump and die. I cannot. I just don't know what to do. I cannot live without her." So my work was to like sit and calm him down and understand how important he is, and how blessed he is with whatever he has, and how many people dream of a life that he has today. So this went on for almost 6, 7 months, and
Can I
every
ask the
night,
age of this person just to understand?
30 years old,
30?
30, 30. You must have thought some 15, 16 is it? No, it's a
20s
30-year-old.
max.
Yeah, I told you, right? Like, it's now we cannot bracket them with age or generation. People, are everywhere across generations.
Father.
So this person used to, I don't know, I never gave up on him because that's my moral responsibility. And I was sure that he would overcome, because here and there I could see certain signs. Okay, he's seeking happiness, but just like what you said, the movies influence. He used to think like, the broken heart has to be some devdas crying, and you have to show like you're a loser, you have lost everything. Only then they will tag you as a good boy, good boyfriend. All these things were in his head. So he thought, okay, I right now need to mourn, I need to be sad, and he used to induce is what I felt, because by the time he was like 7 or 8, he returns back from work, and then he would sit and listen to all sad songs, and then he would go to the terrace, then he would smoke, then he would call me and cry and shout and howl, and I don't know what else he used to do, but he's like, "I'm going to jump up from here," and I take another good 1 hour to bring him down, see that he gets back to his room and he's sleeping. Okay, that's my work. Just imagine, for 6 months I had to do this. And then what happened was, I had already suggested him, because he was staying in the same place where the girl is living, and she had moved on and she had gotten married, and I had told multiple times, like, it's better that you move from that place, because each spot is a memory for him. So I said, why don't you take a break, why don't you go? So he decided to take a transfer to another branch, and he went to another place. And after 2 months, the calls slowly dropped. I was very happy the calls dropped. And then he said, like, "I'm coming to Chennai, I want to meet you." So I said, "Sure, why not? Come and meet me." So he said, "No, I'm a little shy to meet you. So I'm going to order something for you." I said, "I don't take any gifts. I don't know what you're talking about." So he said, "No, you really should take this." I said, "Why? What happened?" Then he sends me a picture with this new girl. He's so happy. And he got married now. But then he sent the picture, and he sent a whole lot of chocolates to me. And then he was so thankful, and he was so happy. He said, like, "I really thought it's over, but it just took one bold step to move from there to a different place." And he happened to meet this girl who was going through a similar situation. So they became comfort for each other.
Okay, right.
And it was such a good feeling for both of them, because I spoke to both of them. And though it is wrong for me to share anything about the person to the other person, the guy had already told the story to her, so she already knew about it. But then they came for 1 or 2 sessions with me to understand which are the areas that they need to work on. And they are so happy today. They are so happy, and they keep sending me messages and keep complaining, small little fights. This is what happened. He doesn't take care of me now. He doesn't love me anymore. All this is what I'm managing. I was like, now what am I doing? I understand I had to save you from something. Now what am I doing? But these are the small little instances that make you extremely happy, because that guy would have jumped off any time if he had no one to talk. It's a
Right.
life so valuable. See, so I keep telling him, if you should have jumped from there, you would have missed a lovely girl like this, right? And he's like, "Oh, please don't talk about it." And he feels so bad about it now. He's like, "Okay, it's such a shame. I thought of ending my life. I would have, he has a beautiful life now, and their parents are happy. The girl is also happy." So this is one thing that made me very happy. But now let me go to the thing which gave me sleepless nights. Though this one was also a sleepless night, but it's not so bad. Because generally we who work with such cases, we have a process of switch on and switch off. Even then, um, it affects us. I should be very honest that it affects us. Sometimes out of nowhere, we would remember that particular person as, oh shit, this happened. Oh, it shouldn't have happened. It hits you. This might be a case which I had taken probably 4 or 5 years ago, but even then it creeps into your mind. Because at the end of the day, we are all very emotional people. It can come anytime. So here is a case where they had an arranged marriage, and unfortunately, the guy lost his job immediately after marriage. So whatever gold or whatever savings the girl had, she pitched in, and they started a move on. They moved abroad, and they moved on in their life little by little. So here is the issue. The issue is the guy doesn't like her smell. Okay, you might find it strange. So I said, did you come to me to tell that you don't like her smell? You can always tell her. Okay, you can have an open conversation. But he's not in a condition to tell that. So every day he takes up extra work until she sleeps so that he can come home.
Oh my god.
just just imagine, what can I do as a therapist while they are not ready for an open conversation? So I said, I would like to talk to your wife. So when I spoke to the wife is actually thinking a different thing altogether. What she's thinking is, I think he has a girlfriend at work. No, he's not coming. I think he's doing something very secretive. No, he's not even sleeping. He's not even sitting next to me. He just gets up when I go towards him. So then I said, no, I think you guys need to have a conversation. And then I started telling her, start doing this. Like how you train uh, people to seduce or something. I was feeling so bad. I was like, what? You need to dress up well, carry yourself well. Because this girl was feeling like, then she's asking, if he genuinely loves me, then why should I do all this? See, I cannot have an intimate conversation with her and say, this is what it is. End of the day, I am a therapist. I'm not anyone to her.
There are
So in
lines.
whatever way, yeah,
For you.
whatever way I could, from my end, I tried. I tried my best to put into the girl's head. But then it became so bad that if whatever effort this girl put in, the guy found it to be very offensive. In the sense, he started telling, I don't like her even more now. No, I hate her. So this went on. I worked them. Two people can be extremely good people, but it's not necessary to be great partners. See, here, individually, they're wonderful people. And personally, I wanted this to work out. Generally, you're not supposed to put your heart into these kind of, sessions. But because I was so closely connected, I actually thought these things would work. But the guy was not ready for an open conversation. Just understand, this today's world, open communication about sex is taboo or about smell is taboo. I don't understand.
Really.
I was like shocked. I did have a conversation keeping both of them together where both of them were uncomfortable. I was the only person who was not comfortable. I mean, who was comfortable. They were so uncomfortable about the conversation. So there's nothing much a person like me can do in such situation. I just asked them to take a break, go for a holiday. And then I asked them to have 2 separate vacations. And then I asked them, like, how do you feel? They both were happy away. So something that I thought would work out and things would be good. This particular case gave me real sleepless nights because I was finding every way possible to crack this down. Because I actually suggested someone, my superior, who's very senior. So I thought probably, when you are of the same age group, sometimes you may not feel comfortable, but someone who is like your mother figure or someone, you might sort of listen. So I refer them to them. If she just told me, you wasted your time. This is not something that's going to work. They really need to move 2 separate paths. So what I'm saying is something like a smell can also break marriages. But what I don't understand is, while using all the gold and everything, he should have thought about the smell as well. I don't get
Yeah,
it.
I wanted to know like how many years of marriage was this?
This is the third year of marriage.
Acha. After 3 years, he realized this thing.
Yeah, after 3 years, he's very uncomfortable. See, initially, I thought it might be about the body because I get a lot of cases where the guys maintain themselves very well and the girls might be having a little bit of bouche here and there. So they feel a little uncomfortable and not very happy seeing their wives like that, though, which I'm completely against all this. But if they're not happy and if the husband wants a wife to take care of her body and look good, he always has the right to tell her, like, why don't you join me to the gym? Let's work out together.
Right.
I would like to see you more beautiful. Like, it's okay to talk, right? I even got to an extent that I'm asking you to talk to your wife, not to someone else's wife. I'm asking you to talk to your wife. What is happening? So this guy was really not ready. So what I'm trying to say is, it was a bizarre case. It gave me sleepless nights. And I had opened all the books available, everything that I had not looked for a long time to just bring a conclusion to this. And that was the last thing, was to refer them to my HOD. So then there, it didn't work. So some cases are weird, Ritu, but
Oh my
it gives
God.
you definitely sleepless nights.
Okay, I did not expect it to be this bizarre. The smell, it is such a tiny thing we think about, right? We don't even pay attention to it. Especially when
Right.
you're in a relationship, you don't think about smells. Like,
Correct.
it's there every day, like from the day one, it's there, right? And you get used to it. After 3 years, if the
Yeah.
person's realizing, okay, now this is bizarre, I can
It
understand.
is. It is. So I was like thinking, there are many cases like this which are strange, but this was, in 15 years, this really stood out. I mean, it gave me not just sleepless nights, it made me feel like, am I really good at what I'm doing? Because it makes you doubt, in spite of having so many positive cases and doing so well at work. This is one case which made me question myself because it was not going anywhere. And I was putting all my heart and soul into it and saying, like, okay, this has to work out somehow. Oh, it didn't. That's where I felt very bad that I couldn't give them a closure.
But some things are not in your hand, right?
Yeah, it is
Tried
not. And I
everything.
think they will be happier if they are far away, because when I asked them to take holidays separately and take holidays together, they said they're happier when they took separate holidays. So that clearly says that they cannot stay together.
All right, Nisha. So now I want to ask a question, a sentence which is very common nowadays, that I don't believe in marriage, right? It's very common, trending these days. So I want to know that when people say I don't believe in marriage, what do they usually mean? Like, is it a fear from past experiences or fear of commitment or just wanting to keep options open? And also, I want to know that how can one understand the real meaning behind the statement, whether it is just being flamboyant or someone who's really scared of the commitment. How
The
to understand
question
that?
that you need to ask them is, what exactly makes you say this? So they would say, who wants to take a responsibility? Okay, I'm giving you different answers. So that's a clear sign of fear of commitment. The next answer that they would give is, I am independent, I have all the money, I don't need anyone. So that means to say they have fear of losing their autonomy, in the sense their independence. So again, if you go further and ask, they say, I haven't seen anyone happy. This is something serious, in the sense they would have seen unhappy marriages around them. It might be their own parents or in the neighborhood, or they have listened to all kind of stories like that. So they are extremely fearful of having a similar kind of life. Now, the last answer, which I said, there are very high chances that they genuinely would remain single. Whereas the other cases where they are having fear of commitment or fear of the authority or independence, that can change. But if you are emotionally affected and you have been seeing only the negative sides of marriage, and you have not seen any happy married couples, or an institution which is of give and take, and a small little happiness here and there, and cuddling or showing love and all that, then it's very difficult for that person to take a decision. So, out of the list, whatever you said, people who are emotionally saying, I haven't seen any happy marriages, that person would remain genuinely single. Others, there are chances of changing, because if they find someone who is okay with their independence, they give it some time, they can change. And the other one with regard to commitment, when you're head over heels with the right man, then commitment is okay, I can be committed. But when you're emotionally hurt and there's a huge burnout within you, that fear is real. So, very high chances that they wouldn't go forward. And the last case in which you said whether they want to keep their options open, that answer comes when you ask them, no? Like you ask, like, what is the reason? And they tell you, like, I don't know, I just like being like this.
Uh,
Okay, so there is an absolute non clarity in this. That means to say this person actually doesn't have an idea. So let me keep this open, like, okay, let me try, let me see. Or maybe it's better to have be single and keep options open. So this is how we identify, or this is how we can understand that the only way out is to ask a question back to them. Why? So out of these category, the one that is connected to the emotions, which I said, they would be very strong on the decision. If they haven't seen anything nice or pleasant about two people being together.
right, right. So just dig a little deeper and you will find out the genuineness. So, for all the viewers who are watching this, I want to ask you that which kind of problems can be solved after coming to you? Like, only a couple thing is a problem that can be solved, or there are other things that is the reason why we should approach you.
All kind of relationships. It's not just about couples. It can be about a boss and subordinate, a teenager and the mom, maybe two siblings who are trying to connect emotionally, who have not been in touch for a really long time. And even right now, what I'm working on, or rather concentrating on, is about long distance relationships where there are a lot of nursing community people who are going abroad and they have issues with probably the parents being helicopter mom or dad and like calling them multiple times and it affects their work. So the parents actually do not understand what the child is going through or how important work is for them, and also with the spouses who have their own list of requirements and they don't understand what the wife is dealing with. So long distance relationship issues. So couples who have issues, they can definitely approach me. Then siblings from the same house who are probably not emotionally connected and want to get connected and want to be a partner for each other, they can approach me. Then, if there is an issue with boss or subordinate and you're trying to fix your team, yeah, they can approach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these are the people I deal with. If I could put it in a bracket, it's all about relationship. There is nothing like husband and wife alone, not just romantic relationship, but all kind of relationships.
I hope you get busy, a lot busy after this. And can we expect another book coming from you? Is anything happening?
Yes, it is. It is in the process.
Oh.
I want to release the second part of this book because I couldn't include all the issues that people encounter in marriage, especially the naughty decision that is especially related to marriage and society. I have only written 9 stories in it, but I want to release another book because there are a lot more to be shared. This is a quite generic and very simple, and I think a lot of people know about it, but are not acknowledging these things. In the first book, I have referred to simple things, but the second one will be a little more elaborate, where people might have to think a little bit in depth to understand. So that's how I'm planning. The second book is on the way.
All right. Okay, that's a news. So we are gonna meet again. That's gonna happen.
Yes, yes, for sure.
So this will be my last question to you. That for youngsters who are entering the phase where falling in love feels like inevitable, right? So what would be that one relationship truth you want them to know that no one teaches us, growing up?
Okay. One thing is, I don't know whether you have also gone through something similar where people say butterflies in the stomach, hearing the bell when you see the right person,
Right.
the horse and the man and all that is
The
definitely
guitars.
not. The butterflies in your stomach is your nervous system saying you're anxious. Just understand that.
All right. All right.
And
You're just bursting the bubble. Right there.
yeah, and what I also want to say is whatever is highlighted initially is definitely the good things. It can be the looks or the behavior, or how the person is dealing with you. What is noticed later is the flaws. Okay, after being committed for a certain number of years, only then you say, oh, what kind of a person have I got? Otherwise, oh, she's so beautiful, he's so good, he takes care of me, she's so loving. All that happens. So, what I would say is for young people who are getting into love, ignore the butterflies, identify the flaws, and love the person with the flaws, because that is going to remain.
Right,
The
right.
flaws will remain, and you accept, and you will know how to deal with a person with the flaws. So this will be for people who are looking for long term good healthy relationship, because there are people who are looking for all kind of relationships. So so
Right.
considering a healthy, happy, long lasting relationship, I think we need to understand these things.
So, this is the end of the conversation. I think I'm done with all my questions. And the conversation had been so wonderful. Like, I loved it. Love talking to you.
Thank you. It was wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Completely my pleasure. I hope the video helps so many people out there because love is as complicated as life itself, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, it is. It hurts, it heals, it confuses, and end of the day, it gives you some hope also.
It
Love is
does.
not always bad.
It not.
Love is a very beautiful emotion, but sometimes it does hit you a little hard. But that's for better lessons in the future. So that's how life and love are so beautifully connected. I hope a lot of people get some kind of an awareness, and if it helps even a single person in taking the right decision, it would matter a lot. It is something great that we would be giving back to people, right?
Of course, absolutely. That's the goal, right? All right, Nisha, it was wonderful talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful talking to you, Vidya.
Thank you. Thank you so much.